Welcome. If you're keyboard challenged as I am, or simply hate to type, this video may give you some insight on how to overcome this limitation by the use of voice recognition software. I find that Dragon NaturallySpeaking and Legacy work well together for data entry, but you will need to use the mouse or the touchpad for the majority of the navigation within Legacy. I will demonstrate the use of Dragon in Legacy by searching Ancestry.com for a 1940 census record, creating a source for that census record, and entering the data into Legacy Family Tree. In order to accomplish this, I will need to activate and deactivate the microphone more often than normally would be necessary since I'm narrating this tutorial. Let's start by activating the microphone and opening Legacy. Wake up. Open Legacy 8. Frank Carr and Laurel Solomon need to have the 1940 census added to their record. Frank has the focus here, and that will allow me to go to the internet and search for information on the current person, i.e. Frank. We can do that by clicking on this search the internet icon. That opens a window that will allow me to select from a list of custom searches that I have developed, and we want one that will take us to Ancestry and look for census records. I'll click the down arrow here, and here is an Ancestry search that looks into the all census and voter lists data collection at Ancestry. We'll choose that one and click on search. This takes us to the internet and searches for census records for Frank Carr, and it has found several here, but there are Frank Carrs in Pennsylvania and Frank Carrs in Missouri and Tennessee and Kansas and so forth. This happens because we were unable to transfer location information from Legacy to the search engine. So we'll need to edit the search and add some information, location information. We'll do that by using Dragon. Wake up. Missouri. Stone County, Missouri. Stop listening. Earlier census records tell us that Frank was born in Missouri, so I've entered Missouri as a location for his birth. The 1920 and the 1930 census records indicated that he lived in Stone County, so I've entered Stone County, Missouri. Now let's see what kind of return we get with this search. Okay, we now have Frank Carr in the 1940 census, and that's what we set out to find. Looking at the record, we see that this is our Frank Carr and that he lives in East James in Stone County, Missouri in 1940 with his wife Laurel and two sons. And this Mabel Carr turns out to be the wife of Harold and their daughter Virginia Ann. Let's move this over to my second monitor, and we will now enter some data into Legacy. I will click on Frank Carr to open his individual information screen. Here I can add the source for the 1940 census. I want to first add that to his name, so I will highlight his given name, Frank. Then I will click on the source icon to open up his Assigned Sources window. From here, I will be able to cite a master source and then add the detail to that master source. I can do that by clicking on Cite a Master Source. Now I'm going to use Dragon to help me find the source that I want out of this list. Wake up. Cap Census - Stone County. Stop listening. Here it is, our Stone County, Missouri 1940 census, so it's highlighted, so let's select it. Now we're able to go ahead and add the source detail. Taking the information from my other screen in the census record, we will now fill in the detail. Wake up. East James. Tab. 2160. Tab. 105-4. Tab. 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 One no space A. Correct that. Choose 2. Tab. Tab. Frank Carr. Tab. Stop listening. There was no sheet number and no household number in this census record. Now let's add some media. The media I have copied from Ancestry to my hard drive. So let's click on Media and add a copy of the census page to the detailed source. I'll pick picture since I saved it as a JPEG, and here I'm open to my census records. We find that, we'll wake up. Stone. Stop listening. Here it is. So we'll highlight it and then open that, and that will link that image to this source detail. Wake up. Cap Census - Frank Carr. Tab. 1940. Stop listening. and that's to add the text comments. This is where I transcribe the information from the source into Legacy's notes. Wake up. Frank and Laurel Carr were living in East James, Stone County, Missouri in 1935 and 1940, period. Their two sons, a daughter-in-law and a granddaughter were also living in the household as they were in 1935 and 1940, period. Frank was 46 years old and Laurel 43 years old, period. Harding, a son, was 19 years old, and Harold, a son, was married and was 21 years old, period. Harold's wife, Mabel, was 21 years old, and their daughter, Virginia Ann, was 8 years old, period. New paragraph. They were all born in Missouri, as were their parents, period. New paragraph. Frank was a farmer, and Harold was working as a clerk in the office for the CCC, period. Oh, stop listening. Okay, we can save this now. We've got the source complete, and that attaches it to Frank's name. But I want to save this source to the clipboard, and I'll do that by clicking on the icon in the lower left-hand corner here and overwrite whatever is on the clipboard. Now we can close this. Frank's name has now been sourced with the 1940 Stone County, Missouri Census. It also applies to his birth date since it was confirmed in that source. So we'll highlight his birth date in place, click on the single bar, and add the source to his birth. We'll save that. Now, another thing we can do is create an event, a residence event. We'll do that by clicking Add, Wake Up, Residence, correct that, choose one, tab, 1940, tab, East James, now stop listening. We'll add the source to this event. And save it. And as evidenced by the fact that the labels turned red, the source is now added to this event, and we can save it to the clipboard because we'll be using it again. This is the event clipboard. And now we will save the event. Now, he also lived there in 1935, so let's add another residence event for 1935. Wake up. Stop listening. Since I added that to the clipboard, all I need to do is click here and that puts the 1940 residents back there. We can now highlight 1940, wake up, 1935, stop listening, save that, and he now has the 1935 residents sourced. And you can go on and add an event for his occupation, etc. But let's save this at this point and go on and add a new person. We found that Harold was married and his wife's name was Mabel, so let's get Harold into the main spot, and we'll click here and it will let us add a wife, and this will be a new person. So we'll click add a new, wake up, Mabel, correct that, choose one, tab, 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 about 1919, tab, comma, spacebar, comma, Missouri, stop listening. Now we can add the source that's on the clipboard to both these fields by clicking on the triple bar. This will add the source to any and all fields that have data in them. So let's click on the triple bar, click save, and now we have sourced Mabel's name and her birth information. Now let's add her events, her residence events. Remember, we put that on the clipboard, so all we have to do is paste it back in, and we have Mabel residence in 1940. We'll save that. Now let's add the 1935. We'll add an event. Click on the, highlight the 1940. Wake up, 1935. Stop listening. Save that. And save the information. This person's still living. No. Birth, the marriage date would have been about 1930 or 31 based on the age of the child. So we'll say about 1931, wake up, about 1931, stop listening. We don't know where they were married, although it's likely they were married there in Missouri. But let's apply the source by clicking on the single bar. Click on save. We'll save that. And now we've added a brand new person and sourced her information that we got her initial data from, and that just about completes what we wanted to do with this video. To recap, we went to the internet, found a 1940 census. We took the information from that, created a source, and have added that information to people's records. And in addition to that, we have added a new person without typing a single word.